Let's talk about how to make the most of your convention going experience. If this is the first time you'll be attending a convention, or if it's been a couple years since you last went to one, then this video is for you. So for this video, I'm going to share with you all of the general activities that happen at conventions, regardless of size, and how to make the most of your time there. I attended 6 conventions this year, 2 which were brand new to me, and the other 4 I've been a regular attendee for like the last 10 years. This year I had a few friends going to the very same conventions I was going to, and they had never been before, so they needed some advice. I thought this would be a good video to share with all of you. So for activities, most conventions have 4 things. Number 1 would be panels. Panels will feature a figure in the industry who is showing you a sneak peek of something that's up and coming, or that is providing educational content for you to become better at your craft, whether you're an artist or whether you are an aspiring writer, things like that. So each convention has their own rules when it comes to panels. Some require making reservations, and some require lining up, sometimes for several hours. I'm going to use San Diego Comic-Con as an example. Over time, it's kind of become a rite of passage to line up, sometimes overnight, to attend panels that feature celebrities for upcoming movies. That is one of those things where I feel that, I'm in my 40s, I don't have time to line up for days on end, and that is not my thing. But if it is an initiation you would rather go through, do you? Go ahead, help yourself. Next activity are usually meet and greet sessions with celebrities, influencers, writers. Again, each convention has their own rules. Some of these would require payment in advance. Some would also require lining up in advance. I highly recommend that you do these at smaller scale conventions. I feel that when you go to a small scale convention, you get a little more personal time with certain celebrities. So the next activity are experiences. This can be anything from portfolio reviews, hands-on workshops, makeup, styling tutorials, depending on, depending on the type of convention. And of course, shopping. You've got options like Artist Alley, small vendor, and big licensed vendor. For Artist Alley, they could be freelance artists or full-time artists that are working already in the industry. And they're basically selling goods they made, such as posters, prints, postcards, keychains, purses, lanyards, you name it. They could be selling anything related to the fandom you are attending. A good example of this is Anime Expo. Anime Expo Artist Alley has grown so big in the amount of years that I've gone that it's almost a separate event itself. It's almost a day-long excursion going into that hall. So small vendors basically are small business that sell collectible items, figures, clothing, anything related to the event that you're going to. When it comes to licensed vendors, a lot of them will have a lot of them will sell an exclusive item to that convention. They each have their own rules, but the general trend is that you either show up early first thing and you basically wait in line until they open. And if you happen to be one of the lucky 100 people first in line, then you get to buy that item. The other option, depending on the vendor again, is that they issue a ticket before a return time for you to come back and buy your exclusive item. Most vendors who are selling exclusive merchandise at a convention usually have an allotment for each day. So if you're not able to get anything the first day, try the second or third day. As a side note, most licensed vendors will have plenty of merchandise for sale. They just may not always have the exclusive item available. And you'll also have large vendors who aren't selling anything. They might be a studio, they might be a publishing company. So they're not necessarily selling anything, but they have partners they work with who sell their merchandise. So now that we've gone over what happens at a convention, let's go over tips on basically how to make the most of your time there. Make a list of your priorities. What do you want to do the most when you're there? What could you live without? And kind of on a subtopic of that is to check the convention schedule in advance. If you need to make reservations for panels, you need to buy an autograph opportunity with your favorite sci-fi actor. These are something you want to do ahead of time. Checking the convention schedule will also give you an idea of how much time you will have per day to do the things you want. And this way you can rearrange if necessary. Most big conventions have an app that you can download, and then you can plan your schedule accordingly. You can even set up alerts on things that you want to do, so that way when you're on the convention floor, a notification will pop up and then you know, oh, it's time to go to this panel. So when it comes to making your priority list, keep your list small and practical, especially if you're going to the convention for only a short amount of days. Trying to cram everything at once into one day is, I'm just gonna be real, it's pretty impossible. If you want to do everything all in one day, at most, you might be able to do 3 things. So next, make a plan when it comes to lunch. Eat really early or eat really late, say 1:30ish. Convention Center will usually have its own food court, cafes, and there might be some food trucks on site, but these tend to get very crowded quickly, so definitely plan when it comes to eating. If you're attending a convention that's in a prominent downtown area with a lot of food and eateries, definitely recommend making reservations if you can. If your convention is near a hotel, then eat at the hotel. Most of the time, it's going to be easy for you to eat there because no one wants to spend time off the convention floor, and going to a hotel and then coming back takes some time throughout the day. But the good thing about going to a hotel for lunch is that you have a place to sit and you kind of get to decompress away from the convention floor. And the food is pretty good. So tip number 3 is to use public transportation if you can. This saves you money on parking, gas. Convention parking is very expensive, especially if it's in a downtown area. They tend to increase the price. So I understand not everyone is comfortable doing that. Everyone comes from different walks of life, and some people would rather drive. If you can take public transportation or if you can bike over there, definitely recommend doing so. Again, I'm going to give San Diego Comic-Con as an example. You could take the Amtrak train from Los Angeles to San Diego in 2.5 hours, and you wouldn't have to worry about driving at all. It literally dumps you 4 blocks away from the convention center. And the train station in San Diego, you could actually hop on a trolley for a couple stops and you're there if you don't want to walk the 4 to 5 blocks it takes to get there. Also, another thing is if you're staying at a hotel near the convention center, you might want to see if they offer shuttle service between your hotel and the convention center, because you could take that as well. That's also an option. So for the next tip is, if you're cosplaying, dress comfortably. There's nothing worse than walking around and you're dying and it's hot. Wear light layers, preferably moisture wicking ones, and try not to bring weapons. I get it, having cosplayed myself years ago, props definitely make the costume for sure, but you find it starts to be a heavy load on you. Plus, you have to check it through security so they can make sure that it's not dangerous. So that's more time taken away from the convention floor. So, again, it really depends on you. I highly recommend traveling as light as possible. When you are walking around, the last thing you want to do is carry something really heavy and awkward. So my next tip is to bring a bag that you can use to haul all of your goodies, regardless if it's a backpack, a compact foldable reusable bag, a poster tube. The last thing you want is to be basically carrying items that could get damaged. So I definitely recommend you bring something that can haul all of your convention goodies. So now for some bonus tips. If you are a guest who needs special assistance, go check with guest services and they might be able to give you a special sticker or something that you can attach to the back of your badge. This is just an example badge I'm using, but it's pretty discreet. You just attach it to the back and then you can show security or the vendor, and then they will usually guide you to either the front of the line or a designated seating area for panels. and workshops. And another tip is to bring an empty water bottle. You can refill it at the convention center. You can also refill it at a restaurant where you've chosen to eat. And that way you're hydrated throughout the convention. The last thing you want to do is be dehydrated, because that just plain sucks, honestly. So another one is to use the business center at the convention. Most of the time they ship items home. So if you buy big collectible items, or there's a bunch of stuff you buy that you know is not going to fit in your luggage, you can easily just ship it and use the business center there. Usually it's FedEx. Okay, so for the next tip, you might want to bring what I like to call like a comfy convention kit. For example, wipes, fan. You can bring the battery operated one. Those are probably best, honestly. Sanitizer, a power bank with cords. Sometimes you might want to bring more than one, just in case. That's just the bare minimum. You can bring mints, you can bring a compact stool or blanket to sit on. Again, that's a little iffy with some places. You might want to check the rules. When it comes to a stool, usually if it's attached to a cane, nobody really says anything. But if it's one of those like giant discs that like telescope out, they might have an issue when it comes to that type of thing. But if you can bring something comfortable to sit on, that's even better. I mean, even a padded cushion that you just put in your backpack, that works too. Anything to help you sit, because you're going to be sitting on the convention floor. I guarantee you, when it comes to waiting, especially with some of these long lines, you're going to be sitting. You'll be walking around tired. You're going to want to sit. So I hope you liked the video and found these tips useful. For my next video, I'm basically going to cover mistakes you can avoid to make your convention experience stress-free and enjoyable as possible.